So sometimes I just need to make a video and get some shit off my chest. I'm gonna go outside so that y'all can hear the birds in the background, even though it's kind of cold outside. I don't know, man. Porch vibes have just been so healthy for me. Even though there's a super high pollen count, I gotta let it not affect me. Um, so here's the thing. For way too long, it's part of the journey, but for a very long time, I realized that this I had this purpose way before I had any direction in life, way before I had any idea how any of this shit was supposed to be accomplished, way before I even took it seriously. It was just a dream for really a very long time. It was up until like kind of recently. Recently, it wasn't a dream anymore, but I was kind of living in a dream where I had already accomplished it, and I was like, you just don't understand. Like a year from now, even though I'm not doing anything right now, I'm gonna be so. But the point is, I had all these realizations and all this experience that started guiding me in this direction. And the more that I grew, the more that I realized I could accomplish, the more responsibility I started putting on myself. That was just way too much to handle. And I always had this I know that through God I can do it. So why I don't really have a choice not to do it, because if I don't do it, nobody's gonna do it. So I started to, but people talk about like nobody should be the president of the United States. I'm kind of trying to be like the people's president for like the world. And I just turned 21 like 2 days ago. And it's been more difficult because I came back from school and was like trying to figure out how to get started on YouTube, and was with my parents that were like the opposite of supportive, and more than like not being supportive of it, not trying to understand it, they're super unsupportive of my whole spiritual practice. I mean, excuse me, they'll say words about like congratulating me about like how I've grown a lot, and how I have, oh shit, fam. um they'll say nice things about like, but it's all like, yeah, this is great, but like that other stuff, and it's not, it's just words. It's not like the energy is saying something different than what their words are saying. And it was even more back then because I was a child and I was trying to figure this out, but I wasn't like grown. And then I was just kind of starting to get some momentum going on YouTube, and then I went back to Key West, and I was living with this woman who like needed to be saved, and was like in this totally dysfunctional environment. I realized as soon as I got back, like, this environment is dysfunctional, and I just moved myself into it. And I don't have my dog, and I don't have, I'm getting yelled at about nothing every day, and she's yelling at her 3-year-old child, and I'm trying to take care of the child, but I'm putting the responsibility of myself to save billions of people. It was crazy, and I ended up getting nothing done because I was just telling myself that I needed to get so much done every day that I didn't get anything done because I was just smoking weed because I was putting too much pressure on myself. Um, and then I'm dealing with all that shit, and then I fall in love with this girl who's friends with Jaden's mom, and I fall in love with this girl, and God makes it very clear, like early on, like, this is a girl that you can marry. This is a girl that you could spend your life with. And I had promised that I was gonna wait and I was gonna work on myself until I found a girl that I knew for sure I could spend my life with. And I found her, um, but I wasn't really ready. Not that I wasn't. I mean, I wasn't totally ready for a girlfriend, but more than that, I wasn't really ready, um, for like everything. I was putting so much on myself, and then she's made it so difficult because she just can't seem to make up her mind. And I get it, she has a lot going on. She, like, this is a total curveball that we had this experience and this connection and all that, but she's just gone back and forth like since the day I met her, and it's been very, so it's just like adding on. I kind of talked about this already, but it's just like adding on to the mind stuff. And the more mind stuff that I have to clear, the more energy it takes, and the less that I can just focus on what I need to focus on. So that's why I had to come back here, among a million other things. The point that I'm making is I've had this realization a bunch of times, but I'm just starting to like really work with it. Is I'm not responsible for all these people. I'm only responsible for myself and everybody else. The kind of mentality that I started to understand is like, if I don't do it, nobody does it. Like with picking up trash, and it's this thing of like, if we all decide to be the leaders of our generation, then we're all going to work on ourselves to the point where we're striving towards perfection. And if the whole generation is doing that and we have proper role models and good teachers, and then that's a revolution that we're all leading on our own, on ourselves. And this is the only way that we take back power from these demons that are trying to strip us of all of our freedoms. Um, and anybody that's been paying attention for the last however many fucking decades, they're trying to take back this freedom that the founding fathers said. I'm getting way off track. The point is, I'm just starting to have this realization, or like to embody this truth that you see the presidents after a couple years. They look. I mean, Trump is like, I don't know, a sociopath or something, or like some kind of genius when it comes to detachment. Um, because it doesn't seem to negatively affect him at all. I'm sure he's on some drugs, but he seems to handle the pressure very well. Because he lives in like Trump land where everybody loves him, and then there's just this, like, fake news. But which there is a lot of fake news. But um, the point that I'm making is that obviously for a 20-year-old, it was not healthy for me to put this much pressure on myself. For me to say I'm responsible for leading all these people. I'm the one that's supposed to do this. I have to do this. This is my responsibility. Because it was like I got nothing done because I was busy telling myself that I had to get way too much done in one day, and the pressure was just like crippling. So, what I've learned over and over again, but what I need to really practice right now, is that you can only serve yourself, and you can't serve anybody else unless you've already taken care of the proper self care. So that's the point that I'm at right now. I need to get myself fit for service if I want to be able to serve anybody else. And that's what we all need to do. That's our responsibility as human beings. As leaders, we need to take care of ourselves first if we want to be taking care of anybody else. Especially anybody else that's like that doesn't have, the tools, that feels more incapable of the self-care that's necessary for themselves in their life. So I'm not responsible for Victoria or Jaden back in Key West. It's not my responsibility. I'm gonna be back in Key West eventually when the time is right, but it's not my responsibility. I can't have this in my mind like I'm responsible for saving their family. I'm not responsible for. I don't even know if she's such a weird. I don't even know if I should say her name in this. Um, I'm not responsible for this girl that I fell in love with. I'm not responsible for her child either, because I have all this other shit that I actually am responsible for. But I'm also not responsible for anybody else. I'm only responsible to vibe out, take care of myself, take care of my dog, and kind of a little bit take care of my parents. But it's more like take care of myself and let God take care of everything else. And this is detachment. So I release all these silly responsibilities that I accepted as my own that really were not serving me. Um, and that is all. Have a great day. I love you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.